Ha ha ha! Happy Halloween to every. Oh, dang it! I was so close. So close.
I mean,
Merry
it's
Christmas.
it's so difficult with Canadian holidays being on
It
different
is.
times.
Happy International Stand Up to Bullying Day. And Seth, leave me alone.
You got it. Thanks. That's a great show, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week. Here we go. I wanted to actually carry that out as long as I could, just to weed out the people.
Pretty good.
The audience that didn't matter.
Excellent.
Actually,
Wonderful.
all of you matter.
Okay, we're alone now. All
Thank
right,
God.
everybody. Welcome to VFX and Chill, the exciting show where Seth and I create real-time visual effects for all of you lovely chillins.
And Michael
out there.
watches.
Like some kind of knowledgeable helper.
Freak.
So
No. not really.
how are you two doing
I
this
love you, Michael.
fine
You're not a freak.
getting toward the holidays week?
Michael, you answer first, because I called you a freak and I feel bad about it.
Yeah, in a way to respect the International Stand Up to Bullying Day's sentiment.
Yeah. What the heck? Michael, how are you?
I'm doing well. The house is getting decorated for Christmassy things. There are 7 Christmas trees around here, so it's pretty festive.
Did you disassociate for a second, Michael? It's a very delayed
couldn't-
reaction.
I was trying to count without using my hands.
Excellent.
That's
So,
a lovely
I could
skill.
Picture my hands in my head as I counted the trees in the rooms.
You picture your hands in your head while doing it?
Oh my gosh. Oh, welcome, Chris Branos, to the chat.
Hey, Christopher.
It has been a long week. It's wild. Yeah, we're all feeling the.
Chris, you think we can just drop CC ball action just whenever we feel like it? You're right, we can.
CC ball action.
Thank you very much. That's all. Only one time each episode.
CC ball action.
Guys, here's the thing about it. I think it's broken. It's
CC
going to
ball
keep happening.
That's all right. We can interject.
We can power
the
through,
visual
right?
CC ball action.
Okay. So today on the show, Hashi, keep telling me what's
CC
today
ball
on the show.
action.
And I mean, that's pretty much it. If we can get through all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think it sounds really good. The only thing I can think about that I don't think I've ever told anybody, this is like brand new, very, very huge news from Axon. I don't think we're supposed to share this, but I'll go ahead and share it anyway, is that we are going to...
CC ball action.
And I can't believe... I think we're getting in trouble for sharing that, too.
Like
Probably
internet,
get
like
trouble for talking
all
about
regions
Yeah.
will have that. So it's amazing.
Incredible.
Way to pull it off, engineering team.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much. In the meantime, why don't we replace Mel Gibson with a velociraptor?
I thought you'd never, ever say that to me, and you finally did. Yeah, that's what we want to do today, right? We got this trailer here. Hashi and I were thinking, it's Thanksgiving coming up, which really means it's Christmas starting a week ago. And so we should Raptorize a Christmas movie. And the truth be told, we spent several hours prepping Die Hard trailer.
We did. We did, by which I mean Seth did. Seth had done all the prep work on Die Hard. And then right at like
about an
half
hour ago
to the show, we're like, what would be funny?
Is if we replaced the problematic actor in Lethal Weapon.
Because somehow that seems to be something that we're good at doing is
Replacing problematic people with like predators.
Those tend to be the more successful ones. So
they do. So let's continue the tradition and replace this bizarrely prolific and interestingly skilled horrible human from
with the Velociraptor. Now, the things I think will be very funny about this, obviously, if you've ever seen Lethal Weapon, you know that the characterization of the character is, well, here, let's see it again with some dialogue.
He was ready to retire.
So I actually swapped Danny Glover and Mel Gibson's sections in the trailer, because it starts off with Mel Gibson and it shows him being a crazy lunatic, and then it cuts to Danny Glover and actually reintroduces Mel Gibson's character here. So
that's just poor editing.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I made a better editing, and here we have I like the idea of the revealing Mel Gibson, the raptor, like moving the hat, but it's like as if the hat were covered. Do we cover the snout, or do we have it be clearly still a raptor with the?
I think that we minimize the snout in the 2 shots before that, but then in the specific shot where he tilts the hat up, we have it be very clear that the snout is much more visible than the hat.
Okay. Real quick, just want to take a picture of this screenshot right here, this close-up of Mel Gibson with the subtitle Raptor Sounds, just in case someone's out there not watching this episode and need to realize that they should be watching this episode.
They really should. Yeah, Raptors, that's the cover of my favorite Beach Boys album right there.
So he introduces himself, he's too old for all this, and then we go to Mel Gibson's character.
A cop who enjoys the danger.
And I'm thinking it should just say a velociraptor instead of Mel Gibson, right?
Yes.
So he's screaming at him there. He's like, what do you mean? And then they jump.
If these guys can just stand each other,
And then I'm thinking, rah.
the bad guys don't stand.
We've got to figure out how to do this stylized. We got to make a hero image of the raptor.
I think we could make a template that can transition through this, and like you can pick 2 colors and you can put whatever in there. That way we can do the titles and the names and the illustration of the raptor without having to keep on redoing it each time.
That'd be great. And if we could also
you can use CC multitone to get that 2-color look pretty easily.
Smart. How do we do the card? I mean, card wipe. I just answered it, but I know card wipe doesn't rotate.
No, you want Venetian blinds.
But Venetian
Card
blinds
wipe can. Card wipe does rotate.
Venetian. Well, it rotates the whole image. It doesn't rotate just the.
Oh no,
just the cards.
Card wipe. You can set the card height to be like the full screen.
No, you can
and
do
then
it, but you can't rotate it.
Effect sandwich thing around it.
Oh, you have to do a transform sandwich in order to make it happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's hence what I meant. I was going to see if there was a quicker way than that.
And one other thing that I realized in watching that is I did manage to put out a But with Raptors this week, which I hadn't done in a long time. We're a little running. The Raptor wells running a little dry.
Yeah, you just blew right through this. You just went straight into Mel Gibson as one does. And so yeah, let's talk about what you're.
So one thing that I noticed in this trailer is Mel Gibson does a lot of close talking. And you may have seen the exciting Frozen with a Velociraptor that came out this week. I have it here.
So good.
And so here is the beautiful shot where we needed to have very close up contact. And one of the things that I realized about shots like this is that if you look at the original shot, let me see if I can find it just for fun. This kind of a shot was incredibly challenging. The character basically covers up the whole area that would be the background.
Golly.
And by his body being so close means that you can't put a velociraptor in this space.
That's what it always means.
Which it's a classic problem. And so the paint out on this character was quite an interesting situation where we needed to have this very large background card painted in to replace all of that, and then recompose Hans' body to be in a different spot. I should really try to just copy this and be able to show one over the other so you could see it. But you'll just have to take my word for it. This was a weird challenge trying to replace that dude with a velociraptor framed so differently.
It's always so hard to do to whole body shift and move. I remember on the Back to the Future one was the still was the first time we hit this problem, and our solution on that one was
with the velociraptor's head being so long, it anytime they get up close to something, you have to scooch them back.
You have to either have turn their head down like a horse and have them be up that way, which I think we did in the Back to the Future one and the Avatar one. But it was in West Side Story that you actually shifted his body over, but we had still like background information to be able to pull from. Whereas here, you just made things incredibly difficult for yourself, Hash.
It was
how did
ridiculous.
how did you invent a background where there is no background?
Well, doesn't he walk out at the end?
He does walk out at the end. So he walks out right here, and I get that little bit. So I took this, and then I added, let's see, where the heck is it? Somewhere in here. What did I call it? It's called the panning comp. And I think that, is it this one? No. Go back. What am I trying to see? I added this little background card with a little fractal noise pattern that looked kind of like the fire, kind of kept it a little bit alive, and mostly replaced the whole background there. The other bizarre thing that I did at the very beginning of this, and I'm very proud of how this turned out to some degree, is that Anna says this first line, which is something like, only an act of true love can save me. And I tried to have the hand then come in and go right into the shot. But this is actually a shot earlier. So I tried to replace the face with the performance from one shot and then morph cut from one cut to the other during that to keep it as one long shot, because it cuts away to Hans. And I needed to save the reveal of his face for as long as possible. So some crazy things that you find yourself doing for the love of Raptors, you know?
For the love of Raptors. Why don't I have that as a drop? For
Stu Mashowitz in the chat.
Hi, Stu.
Feel free to drop in anytime, Stu, and let us know we're doing our job wrong.
So...
Or oh so right.
So, speaking of bad guys... Well, do you have more to talk about Frozen, or are we back to
no? I just thought those are some bizarre things that, some bizarre problem solving that I did for Frozen that I think we might deal with today.
Hashi, you also, do you want to talk about some other Frozen Raptor things that you are prepping and doing?
Might as well. Speaking of Frozen Raptor-y things, Seth and I were joking back and forth on the Slack the other day, and let's see, where's the... Didn't I send you an... Oh, good. I don't remember where I sent you an image of... copy image URL. Can I... I'll just drag over my Slack window. So at some point during our discussion of what holiday movies we wanted to do, I sent Seth this still with quote, I insist on being here when they're born.
I insist on being here when they're born. It was the only caption.
As heck.
And I was like, that's maybe the funniest thing you've ever said to me.
So this led me down this rabbit hole of thinking, I would love to replace Rudolph, at least in some shot like this, because Rudolph is clearly, different than the other reindeer. And how could you make him even more different than the other reindeer by him being a full-out velociraptor? So I've been trying to learn as many ridiculous skills as I can in this program of ours, Cinema 4D, including how to do a viewport render of something that looks enough like the, if you see a restoration of the classic Rankin Bass Rudolph, you can see that crazy felt texture. And so to come up with this was a little bit ridiculous. I started with, let me see if I have it saved in our Raptor assets somewhere. And it's really a treat to have access to this particular folder of ours. It's the Raptor assets folder. It has sound effects. It has tons of poses and acting performances by velociraptors. And under this 3D category,
now is that where our 3D? Yeah, our 3D category. So in the 3D, this is where our 3D model. I do kind of want to go through and just read. Hashi and I are never thinking in terms of permanence or long term whenever we are working on one of these Raptor things. We're always operating as if it's the last Raptor we'll ever put into anything. And so we name our files rather recklessly. And so
we don't know what we're doing.
I'm just going to read. We've got beardy.cinema4d. These are all .c4d files. Beardy, Fire Raptor, Doctor Who 0007, Glove Hand.
Perfect.
Blue Raptor Pennywise.
Oh my gosh, that is. Oh,
I don't think you finished that one. Rick,
I owe you that Pennywise.
Rick
render.
animated B, Velociraptor Bluehead, Rick animated, Singing in Rain, Jeremiah. Oh, we did the Jeremiah.
Oh, the Jeremiah. Yeah.
I forgot we did that one. Socrates. Yelling out. These are my favorites where it's like yelling, screaming, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5.
Isn't there one that's like Stupid Stare or something like that? Or
Yes, it is. There's one called Stupid Stare. I don't know where it is. Intensity Build, Kiss, Looking Up, Marriage 01, Snarl 1, Snarl 2, Snarl all the way to Snarl 2, Snarl 3, Snarl 4, Snarl 5, The Revenge, Titanic 2, Jump, Scream, Talk Normal.
Talk normal.
Raptor.
If you find yourself in a position that you're saying that, you are the one in the wrong, likely. Just
especially if you're saying it to a Velociraptor. Oh, on the weekend. We never did the weekend one that we prepped.
What? You were close on that. Do you have that render?
I don't know if I do. Let's see.
People need to see that render.
People do need to see that render. See that render. Harry
we at least
Styles?
need it as an audio drop, you know?
SNL weekend, that's different. You did that one.
Oh yeah, that's the what did we say? Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend or something.
Yeah. That was an excellent one. That one's up on Giphy, folks. If you want to be able to welcome people to the weekend on a Friday afternoon, but with a Velociraptor, all you have to do is, ladies and gentlemen, Velociraptor, and you'll get it.
Exactly.
In your Giphy. So if you've got Giphy on your work Slack, or in Teams, or on this crashing, burning website called Twitter, it's there for you.
Oh, hey, I have the render. Oh my gosh! So here, I'm gonna go real quick. So we start on the building
the
here.
Biff Tannen-esque VFX and shielding.
We go down and we were gonna put something there on the Heartless part, something else, but then we push in. I remember us having the hardest time with this track. We come through here. We had recorded we did a synthesized version of just I forgot what it was, of The Weeknd singing VFX and chill. Oh, yeah. I have it here.
And Michael, you sounded beautiful.
Thank you.
Hang on,
can that audio be put through?
Yeah, it can. Here it comes.
Oh baby, let's VFX and chill. Our weekly talk show where Seth and Hashi break down visual effects from movies and shows, then try to put them back together again, baby.
And I want to say that I got it fairly well synced up.
Movies and shows,
pretty good.
I try to put them back together again. Try to put them back together again.
That's impressive.
I guess we need to finish this, don't we?
I do remember that one of our challenges was anytime one of the Raptor characters needs glasses, we run into a real Joe Camel style conundrum where you can draw a Velociraptor wearing glasses, but if you need to realize them in 3D, you end up realizing that their eyes are very far apart from each other, and have quite a bizarre nose shape in between.
And the gag here was we were going to give him the hair and the shades. I think that
the way the Weekend Velociraptor would have.
Yeah, exactly. A Weekend Velociraptor sounds like a more leisurely.
It's the opposite of the business raptor that appears in all of the Maxon videos. So, and speaking of, business raptor in the front, party
weekend raptor in the back.
Someone was asking in the chat, Jason Murphy was asking if the raptor is going to have a mullet.
Oh, 100%. We're keeping Mel's hair is the goal here.
Basically, they shot it practically for us, the hair element.
I mean, are you going to put a mullet on him in 3D, or are you going to try to match move him so close that he can keep actual Mel Gibson's hair?
I found I personally have the most success when I keep the original hair. I just think it helps seal it into a funnier place. Hashi's had some good success with the hair simulation stuff in that's not the right word, simulation.
I did with what's it called? Rick Astley.
Rick Astley. The Rick Astley hair was
great. That was really good.
I was proud of that hair, and that hair was actually like a soft body, like deform kind of thing. So as the head moved around, this textured hair kind of did this thing, and it also had like 5 or 6 little wisps that kind of helped it look like real hair, but it was a bizarre one.
Like, this is the one especially we want to have.
That one, you definitely want the hair. So in this one, we could likely recompose the shot by rotoing out foreground character.
Yeah.
You almost have the hair cleanly in the shot the whole time for a lot of it. So we should be able to separate those two characters and maybe invent a shoulder line.
Yeah.
Which may be barely visible, to be honest, with a yelling, intense raptor.
Another easier one you could start with is this one.
That's a good one. That feels more like in the spirit of the very first one, the Mission Impossible one, where we had kind of over the shoulder, replace the face.
I also think, let's see, these are going to be, these are always funny. Anytime we can give a velociraptor a gun.
Raptors love shooting things in this universe that we have found ourselves in.
And then this one.
This one is great. Just like above that shoulder strap, raptor, and below.
And below it, man. Love it. Oh, did we finish talking about your thing? We did not. Let's go back to you.
All right. Oh yeah. So we were talking about this exciting raptor, but I wanted to make it look a little bit more like Rankin Bass kind of shapes, and I've learned from like some bad experiences with rigs that I've done stuff like I'll bring them in and I'll think, well, what if I scale up? Like I should just be able to scale the rig, right? No. Because, look,
Yep.
You get some really, scary results. Same as if you shrink. Like it's interesting. James, my son, is playing with Unreal Engine right now and wants my help making the death animation for some characters, being their rig shrinking to 0%. Which I love. I love how ridiculous that is. But I've done that accidentally before. The proper way, just so you know, is you put the rig and the mesh in a group, and then up here in the object selection tool, you go to you say object with its animation. So now if I scale this, you'll see I'm scaling the whole thing, which is great. So I thought maybe I could mix and match that because this Velociraptor came in animated, which is really cool. So I'm going to cheat a lot by using these animations, but I don't like these proportions. So what I did was go through and do things like roll open the spine and find like this section of the spine, I wanted the torso to be longer. And if I stayed in object with its animation mode, I could scale up, I could scale up this side and it would keep everything on that side proportional in a way. And if I turned that off and went just to model mode, if I did this, it would mess up everything beyond there. So kind of one by one, I did stuff like go down to the head itself and shrink the head and its animation, or actually I think I scaled it up like that. And then for the neck bone, not in this mode, I would stretch it out on its whatever axis that was. Now I'm forgetting what I did. I swear to God, that's how I did it. And pushed and pulled the raptor by stretching out their bones and then doing a bunch of mesh reshaping to give them a skinnier Rankin Bass style neck. And Rankin Bass
you did a fantastic job because this thing looks 100% like it's in that Rudolph world, including those crossed eyes looking at his glowy nose.
Thank you so much. I am very pleased with the way this turned out. And without going on too long of a tangent, because I've wasted half an hour already of it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I do have plans for this this character here, and for a longer stop motion excitement extravaganza.
I'm going to tell you now to save you some hassle. If you want, if you want to not work in weird frame rates, there's a track modifier tag in Cinema 4D that you can throw on any animated, like anything that's animated, and on the track will give you a ton of control. You can have it be like stop motion-y, you can have it be springy, you can have it be smooth. Yeah, it's really, really, really handy.
Oh my goodness, I've been doing all of that in post.
Yeah, track
this
modifier.
Is a nice, smooth animation.
It's called the track modifier tag. And Red Giant.
What does it get applied to? The object that you want?
In the chat.
You have it on there?
There's a quick
track
tip
modifier.
video. Quick tip video that is in the chat.
What?
And our Slack. So for future stop motion-y things. Now what's really cool, not for your project because you want to emulate actual stop motion, but you can put a stop motion like frame limiting on it, but with springiness. So it gets a really cool stylized modern stop motion look because it like snaps, position to position to position like stop motion does, but it springs as it does it. So you can get some really, really cool looks to it that way. Yeah.
So in that case, would you do 2 track modifiers or can you do them both on the same modifier?
You can do it on the same.
What? This is ridiculous. So
you can also add randomness to animations using a noise mode. Like there's a spring, there's noise, there's posterization, there's smooth. Like you can do a ton with it and get crazy.
That's ridiculous. So I could have done this all in here and saved myself some trouble. Look at that. You learn something new every day.
Well, I mean, there is a downside to it. When you're doing true stop motion-y looks, it's still rendering at 30 frames per second or 24 frames per second or whatever you're doing. And it's a waste of render time. So in your particular case, if you're trying to like full on emulate the look, you probably want to just work in a project file and render settings that match the stop motion, like so 12 frames per second or 10 or whatever they used on theirs.
That makes sense.
I just figured I'd throw that little tip out there for folks.
I love that tip. Before we dive into the Die Hard, though, there is a question from the chat from Anya Wedblack. For these projects, why do you all use After Effects instead of Nuke? And in general, other times when you should use AE over Nuke and vice versa. I'll quickly say, for motion graphics, obviously After Effects. But for visual effects, do you two have anything to put into that?
My answer is just that it's the interface that I know best right now. It does the work that I need to do more than adequately, and it's just it's the bike I go fastest on. So I read it. Now I am interested at some point to open up Nuke and a little more and dive deeper into it. But that's my answer. Hashi?
I fear change. No, same answer. I have a lot of experience with After Effects. I came from working at an animation studio where everybody was working in Photoshop, and so animating Photoshop layers was very common and a really straightforward pipeline with it. It's a better tool for motion graphics and for keyframeable animation and being able to see the curves. It has improved a lot, but I would say if you're doing visual effects where you have very CG heavy pipeline, or doing some depth compositing, or you have an all digital interface and you're just getting a bunch of different render passes and combining them, Nuke is pretty awesome for that kind of stuff. I'm not into image finaling from a bunch of different tracks that you basically just stack on top of each other. But I'd be curious to see what kind of people are doing After Effects style visual effects in Nuke, because there are some neat abilities.
I mean, it's interesting to say After Effects style visual effects,
action movie kit versus seeing the Avengers in the theater. Like there's
not really though. Like it's still a cool visual effects shot that works. It's not that much of a difference. I mean, After Effects has been used to do visual effects on feature films, so
it is every day.
And Chris did nail it in the chat that there's no Rotobrush 2 in Nuke, so I don't even know what I would do. Oh,
Bill
and
Hood from the chat is questioning about how you made your felt texture, by the way. So I want to make sure I mention that before we get too far off.
Sure. So here's the composite of it. I just wanted to show you, which is a lot of fun because I'm using universe shrink ray, which is a cool way to make an image look like a tilt shift image. So I just have this flat image of this background. Let me see if I can show it without effects. So this little image, pretty crappy, but turn on some tilt shift effect to it and then put my Raptor in front of it and then use super comp to blend them together. Let's see, all by itself, it looks like this, which is actually a pretty clean looking image. I kind of dig it clean, even though I do want to ultimately add some retrograde to it to make it look more like the 60s, or well, it's probably 70s. I don't remember when Rankin Bass was making Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but this render is using the standard renderer in Cinema because I'm still afraid of Redshift, and I have a whole support system trying to make me better with Redshift, but I'm not there yet. So let me show you what I did in terms of doing a felt kind of look. Here's a brand new project. Let's add this figure here. That's kind of an interesting thing. So I would go and I'd create like some kind of a funky texture or color. I don't know. There we go. And then the very easy next step of just going to simulate hair objects, fur. Done. So let me see why didn't I select them all? I'll turn them into geometry here and then connect and delete this just for simplicity's sake. There we go. Now he's renamed pelvis. I want to name you something else better than that. Human. All right. So now it's just one object. So
pelvis
I can go
is his
up to
God-given name. You should respect it.
Human. Is
pelvis
his name.
might be a family name.
Pelvis. All right.
Pelvis Presley. All right. Anyway.
So
sorry.
you can turn on this scary like cactus mode fur, and when I render the fur, it looks it looks so painful. So using the fur tag, you can add a bunch of stuff like this. Now, once I got to the fur, there are a couple of things I do. I go to the object, the fur itself, and on this object, I increased the number to some very huge number, like 50,000 or something like that. I left the segments at 6, which means that there are like 6 different sections where it can bend along its axis. I turned the length way down until it was just this, slight bit of furriness sticking off like that. And right now, if I render, it'll just look like a person with a bunch of spikes on them. So it looks like we've got to go even higher. So let's say 150,000. And then here under the material tag is where you have a lot of great options if you're using the viewport renderer for hair. You've got a little color gradient like this. And you could also say, instead, have the root color come from the surface. From the surface. Here we go. Check that box. And now if I say that, I believe that this hair is all colored from whatever color it comes from. And then on the hair tag itself, you can modify things like the thickness. So the root is 1 centimeter big and the tip is 0.1 centimeters. And you can go with a smaller number than that. Then you can add some kink and clump. And as you slowly add these little bits, they start to do stuff. This is a very poor scale for an object to see this at. Let me. I'm going to just do this to a sphere. Sorry, pelvis.
It's okay.
My goodness. So what are those steps again? Simulate hair objects, fur. That looks better. So we'll go with this fur where we can increase that number to, 100,000. So it's really, really hairy. And these are just the guide hairs that are rendering right now. And you can actually have them display in the viewport or not. I've turned them off in mine.
Now, yeah, so what guide hairs are, they don't render. They're just saying the hair is going to be in this shape, the shape of these guides. And what Cinema 4D does is it adds hair and interpolates between the guides. So ideally, you've only got a few guides and like a bajillion hairs, if you can get away with it for what you're doing. So a very simple hairstyle would only need a few guides to direct it. But if you have really complicated hairstyle with stuff going here and there and braids and stuff, then you're going to need a bunch of guides, and you might even want to render as guides. It just depends on what kind of work you're doing.
Precisely. So yeah, here in the hair material again, I'm going to do that same thing where I check the surface color so it's getting some of that. I will throw a couple of lights into this scene really quickly just so you have some way to see what the volume is looking like. There we go. And now when I start to render this, you start to get kind of a fuzz on everything. And right now the specular color is really high, so I would go to the hair material, to its specular, and turn the strength of that down. And the secondary specular I'm turning almost all the way down too. And it looks like the color from surface, I'm going to uncheck the illumination channel there, and we'll try hitting render again. And what am I getting wrong here?
Ryan Doggenbaugh says, "Is there a child-parent hair system?" No. Yes. What do you? I'm not sure what you're asking on there. I mean, you could put hair on hair if you really wanted to, I suppose. Psycal said, because you can set hair to render as geometry. Anyway, Psycal says, "What is the difference between fur and hair?"
Oh, fur will stay rigid to whatever normal it's coming out of. Like the guide hairs will do that. And so as you warp this mesh around, that fur is always sticking out in that direction. The reason I'm using fur is because it is not dynamic. It's a stop motion thing. I want something that's rigid and moves around. So here's an example of sort of what you can see this hair looking like. I do not know why my hair is so. Oh, the back specular is too high? No, I don't know why I'm not getting the color out of the hair when I have surface checked. Do I need to uncheck something else? Layer. Now I don't remember what the heck I did. I guess I could go to it. Hair, raptor fur, surface color, blend mode normal. Brightness 100. Oh, I guess I did alter the specular on it. Anyway, you get it. Hair is fun to play around with. It looks like I did alter the specular to kind of match the color, so it reflected it more like this. And this is just a hair material that has kink checked, clump checked, and on these, you can go to any of them and dial up the amount. And like the more kink, the more like padded down felt you can kind of get a texture of.
Yeah, like you can do all kinds of crazy cool stuff with it.
Mm-hmm. And you can always modify the thickness here. So like here we've got kind of a look. Right now the shadows are causing kind of a weird issue. But my gosh, I feel like I'm taking up way too much time talking about hair. This is too long of a tangent.
We do need to get to Mel Gibson.
We do.
Something no one says.
Please.
Well, I've just been working on this shot over here.
Yes. Thank you.
It's not perfect.
Reveal.
But it's getting there.
To me, you are perfect. You are.
This is all you and I ever need. This has become, to an unhealthy degree, it's become our love language between each other and to the world.
Just throw a little keyframed liquefy on that neck and just line up the neck, and then you're golden.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness! What was your process here, Seth?
Pretty great. So I just I rotoed the hair.
I'm imagining us like sitting in folding chairs at the front of a theater, like Q&A afterward, in front of this image, saying, "So what was your process? How do you?"
That's so perfect. I started by rotoing the hair as foreground, rotoed the clothes as foreground, and then I opened up roto brush and did like a really rough roto of his whole body, shifted the edge out with feather and contrast. That was the quickest way. I honestly, I could have just done a mask, but I did it this way anyway. And set that rotoed layer to silhouette alpha and blend mode so that it was cutting out the that section underneath it. Then I ran
Beautiful.
content aware fill and got this weird thing. And then I noticed when I put the clothes and the hair on, which is a fun, stage to get to the Invisible Man point, I realized there was this weird little area between the hair and the body. And so I just did a little patch, which you can see here, just like that, tracked in.
It's the Captain Disillusion patch. The L's has to fix the makeup for.
That's true.
I mean,
so
if Captain weren't a real
yep,
entity.
And then brought in my Raptor, and this is the one. This is what was the name of it? It was Idle Dumb.
Idle Dumb. That's
yeah. So it's just sitting there. And then I tracked his face, and I used Spot Clone Tracker. That's literally my favorite tracker. I just put on a layer.
So fast.
I turn it off. I set it somewhere. I track it, and then I take the keyframes from Spot Center, paste them on a new null onto the position, and it creates a really great position track. It just takes like half the clicks that it would for After Effects Tracker.
Psycal says if you make it blink, they think it would sell the effects better.
Oh, that's smart. We've got that in here, don't? Well, that's the eye layer I got to bring in.
Yeah, it's a different
I
one.
do love it.
And Ahmed Rashid says, if the hair grows in relation to polygons, how do you grow hair in a man's head that shows the curves right and left? How to line the hair? That is when you use hair instead of fur. There are combs, there are brushes. You can groom. The grooming tools in Cinema 4D are pretty good in the hair system. You don't need it with a fur because the fur is a simplified version of the hair system. But if you want to do that kind of stuff on a head where it goes different directions, then you want to use the full hair system and comb it and brush it and move it to where you need it to go.
If you want to see an example of us trying to walk through that, you can check out our Halloween episode with Valentina V. I'm pulling open this comp because I was using Spot Clone Tracker earlier today on this image. And I'll show you what I use it for. I use Spot Clone Tracker to track the eyes so I could make Harrison Ford look right at you during this shot. Because what I've done for this shot, viewers would not be able to hear the audio, but I've decided to have Harrison Ford look right at camera and deliver his narrated lines.
Oh my God, you're finally doing it.
Blade Runner.
You're finally doing it. I love it.
I'm finally doing it. We finally, for reasons that will become apparent on over the coming week, you'll see that Seth and I have been doing a lot of playing around with the Wave 2 Lip plugin.
You made that sound so dirty. The two of us have been playing around with the Wave to Lip program.
It's a Wave to Lip program. Honey, it's not.
It's not what it sounds like.
This is me experimenting with trying to do some facial animation using a depth mat, a few little, some slight like key pose things, and an animated mouth from Wave to Lip, which is pretty cool. Kind of fun. It's not all the way there yet, but Spot Clone Tracker was a really, really quick way to track this. Because believe it or not, it is footage under all that. But back to Hashi Lethal AE Comp. Where have we stored these lovely plates, Seth?
And the footage folder?
They are probably in today's episode.
Yeah.
And nicely labeled.
They are. You know me. Well, I mean, I did just prove that we the exact opposite.
Look at
of that,
you.
You know I like to try
All
and
of
be
our plates
organized
right
wherever
here.
I can.
Seth is lost in a world of something.
I am. Wait, can you not hear me?
Or muted. One or the other.
How am I muted?
Well, I don't know. I'm hearing you talking. I can't see
Maybe I just
anything
can't hear
you've
you.
got, by the way, Seth.
Wait,
Like
no.
all I see on my end
Here's
is
me.
your headshot.
Oh,
Here's me. Hashi, you there?
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you now. I don't know what had happened.
Oh,
hear
weird.
you, but I can't see you, Seth.
You can't
In
see me?
Skype, Skype, can you change the camera that you're using to send to Skype to something else and then back to OBS or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Because all I'm seeing is your Skype.
Oh,
headshot.
I mean, I'm seeing. It looks like my. I can do it, but it looks like it's sending the right thing. Hang on.
I know. I just want you to reset it to
I
like
did it
kick
again.
the tires.
I reset it.
Nice.
Still just getting your headshot.
Sounds
I'm
like
just gonna fly
sounds like
blind.
that's you.
I mean, I
yeah.
can see Hashi's screen, but I can't see anything on yours.
That's weird.
Yeah. Oh well. One of those days.
Hashi, you can see me, right? My this broadcast, right?
I can see you. You appear to be animated.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Well, I'm just seeing you through the
Yeah, but
show.
you're seeing my comp.
Correct.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm seeing nothing. I just get your Skype default as if you have no camera turned on. My Skype is just being weird, I guess.
Oh, weird. I am just going through meticulously. This is one of those things where I had to pick a constant and a variable in the movement, and I probably did the wrong one, I would have done it differently had I been a little more organized here, but I am liquefying this neck and trying to make it track with the body and these nods. Oh, crap.
I have always found that a pretty successful technique for having to deal with a CG element that's got to match with something like, just always got to line up with that shirt line right there, which is pretty cool.
Well,
And if you were doing something more intense, I would highly recommend Lockdown 2. I don't know what we're on right now,
Yes.
but from Chris Vranos on AE Scripts, it is lovely in case you need something like something to actually really connect to a part of a body, like if you want to spray blood on a hobbit's face or all sorts of things. But I'm using the detailed face tracker over here to try to get a head start on this shot.
a head start.
Head start.
Thank
The thing that I hate that I haven't gotten around to doing yet is figuring out how to turn RBF and SOB
Into money.
Well, how to turn it into being able to track a 3D like to put our Raptor on it. I don't feel like we have.
We're not quite there yet.
No.
We're close. You can use the Motion Bro plugin, which is expensive, but we'll figure out a free way to do it eventually.
I think
know
we
that
have
we'll
the
figure
data
out a
to be
free
able
way
to
to
do
do
it
it.
now. I just haven't done the work yet.
Yeah, Seth.
I just realized I've been doing this liquefy thing, and I didn't turn the keyframe on the distortion mesh ever.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I'm gonna murder myself.
This is one of those things that is like a gotcha when you're early on. Like you just start rotoscoping with masks, and then you forget to turn animation on.
I've
like
always
you're
said
going
it,
frame
and
by frame and doing all this work, and then you
that's
like an
the
hour later you look
worst.
back and you're like, "There's no keyframes," and then it still bites you like 20 years in.
Hate that feeling.
I'll say it. Victoria, Christine, please, if you notice in the history of After Effects that the last several actions have been frame forward and change mask, frame forward, change mask, please add a pop-up that says, hey,
Idiot.
you
You're
want
not
to
animating
enable
like
keyframing on this mask, because that's the most likely thing you're doing. I don't think I would mind that pop-up, because it's going to have a checkbox that says, don't tell me this, I know what I'm doing.
Also, if you're in Premiere and you duplicate a sequence and then you go back into the sequence you just duplicated and not the duplicate, I want it to pop
yes.
up and say, hey,
Yes.
idiot, you're doing it again. Fix yourself.
That was one day.
Jason Murphy says that they're waiting for Black Friday to grab Lockdown and some other tools on their personal system. There are some good deals coming up for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday?
What?
Wait, that's the digital version of it
It's a
for
digital
digital
version of
stuff.
But Michael,
And they're
cyber
made-
is only in the digital world.
I mean, there's a whole universe of things that could be happening on Cyber Monday.
Michael, I feel like you're going to get fired.
Phenomenal. Why?
Cyber-
See, why didn't we get the green light to to play that live? Let's just play that on a loop for next Friday's show. Next Friday we are off, by the way.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're not here. We're eating. We're recovering from turkey.
You could come here and hang out. There are lots of
Plenty of
exciting
past
VFX and chill episodes that you've probably missed.
All right, I'm going to move on to another shot. I'm not going to keep. Here we go. I'm going to do this.
Oh yeah,
a little more light wrap.
This hat shot. Oh yeah, I got to comp it. I haven't actually comped this. I guess I should comp it. All right, so
I don't remember if the timer that we have on screen in general, Seth, is that an adjustable timer or was it specifically set for 20 minutes or whatever?
Oh yeah, no, it's just for. We should do. It's just for 20 minutes. I haven't actually.
I just feel like on these Raptorized shows, being able to see an on-screen countdown could be an exciting. Don't get lost.
All right.
That.
Yes.
In
sir.
the future.
I won't. In the future,
if
you're
we're
right.
Trying to attack way too much. We can have a timer to make us feel.
Michael, in the meantime, will you just? Well, no. After I comp this, I'll let you know. Can you start another timer for me? No, I can do it myself. I'm a grown ass man. Never mind. Sometimes I forget I'm a grown up.
Grown up stuff. It's boring.
Wait a second. I need to duplicate the plate, make the painted version. Okay, so I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Here for my compositing the Raptors stuff, I duplicate my plate with the original character that I'm Raptorizing in it. Keep that at the bottom. I take my plate. I take anything related to the paint out. That could all be, and I pre-comp it all into being a clean plate. Set that, I call that clean, and now that's that. Then I take foreground stuff like clothes and hair in that little patch that I did. I pre-comp that and call that foreground. And then I take plate, clean, element, in the foreground, and I go to effect, RGB effects, super comp. And now I go in, and one of the first things I do is I turn off the clean version of the plate, leaving Mel Gibson underneath there. And I go to the Raptor, and I go to color correction. Oh, it's not working. Hang on. Go to color correction. There we go. And I
welcome Justin Leduc, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
And I click match background, so it's going to match Mel Gibson's like skin tone and everything else, and not skin tone, but his like black levels and such. And then
Seth, we can't see your super comp.
I have so many things that I want to say about.
How about now? Can you see super comp now?
Well, I'm gonna have to wait because I can't see your screen at all.
I assume you can because I put it into After Effects now. So
I'm gonna have to wait for it to show up on the YouTube end of things.
All right, that's fine. So
there we go. Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna turn off my Raptor real quick so you can see. I'll turn the clean plate off, leave Mel underneath. Go to element, go to color correction, and apply it. If it'll let me click on it. There we go. And I go to match background, click that, and boom. Now he's going to be matched up with the overall black levels of Mel, etc. I turn the clean plate back on. And now I'll just do a little bit of like reverse light wrap and light wrap and a little bit of diffusion. And honestly, I don't really mess with much on these Raptor things. Like the presets all kind of do exactly the job that I need them to do. And this looks ridiculous.
It looks remarkable.
I haven't Raptorized anything in a while, and this is really, this feels good.
What's crazy about what you just did is that SuperComp does in a couple of clicks. So it would take like literal hours to set up regularly in After Effects.
Now the other
because all those layers were interacting with, like all of the layers are working with that layer, and you just SuperComp's my favorite.
Now the other fun thing is if you go in here and you turn on haze, I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember this right. So turn the amount haze up to 100. And now let's turn our exposure in After Effects. No, that's not what we want to do. Not exposure. Sorry. Let's turn our grain. I think it was about turning it up to 100 here. Maybe not. What's the goal here? I forgot. Stu, you taught me this.
What is the goal?
And I did it once, and I don't remember. So grain, we'll turn grain up to 100 on this Raptor, And I think it was about trying to match the grain size. Like, you know what? I've forgotten how to do this. And it's also not HD. It's like a SD file. So I probably don't even need to go to the trouble of doing this. I'll go over this some other time when we're working with HD footage. But for now, it's just a way Stu taught us to match grain in SuperComp.
Oh, I see.
That works really well. I think it works better in HD footage because here there's really no way to read. So this works for me. So that's that shot. Now I'm going to go here and do this baseball hat shot.
I'm going to go do a baseball.
I'm going to go do baseball. I'll be back.
I would say doing a baseball not quite as fun as doing a Pixar.
No.
Not quite as. But if one of us does pull off an amazing animation feat, I feel like that is celebration worthy.
You know
what do
what,
you guys think?
Hashi? I think it is celebration worthy. I think you showed us your Rankin Bass Raptor, and I think that's worth celebrating. That you are a Pixar. We're so proud of you. You did it.
Thank you. That's all I've ever wanted.
Hey, speaking of you, what are you doing over there, you?
What am I doing? I have jumped in here, and I think that in Element I've opened up one that is called Static Roar, which I think is basically just like a roaring raptor with a tongue going there, which is pretty great. And I have this magic raptor texture, as some of you may recall, which is a texture that has an alpha threshold that if I turn all the way down, then the neck comes back, and if I turn it back up, it starts to disappear from the back to the front, so I can just have the face there for it. So I'm saying okay, and then I'm bringing this raptor head in here. Only I'm having a little bit of trouble with it refreshing, and I'm not sure if that is me or my video card or my oh no.
Uh-oh.
All right. So that's a whole other issue.
Is it the solid size?
I created what I did was I created this null when my element layer was too big, and then I resized my element layer so it was not related anymore. So now I can link the raptor face to this. In the meantime, I had tracked the facial features right here, and I have them on a null right here. I actually converted it to a 3D null using the Motion Bro extension. So what that's done is it means that now I have technically a 3D null that is right on this face, so I can position this static roaring head into the right position somewhere like this. And then let's just play to see if the animation kind of lines up at all. Okay, somewhat. Like, it's not bad. So decent. There's clearly some... it's hard because raptor heads are skinnier than human heads. Or if you make them as wide as a human head, they become this adorably oversized head. So,
yes, they do.
What I often do is, if I have a tracked point like this, I might. This may look horrible, but let's just try it. Let's add an adjustment layer right here, and since we have this null right in the center of the head, we're going to use that information in a second by going to distort liquefy on my adjustment layer, and then on the distortion mesh offset, I'm going to alt click there to add an expression. Where I'm going to use that layer, the face layer, dot to comp, parenthesis, bracket 000, to basically convert the 3D position to a 2D screen location. And now you'll see if I grab my liquefy effect that this little controller signifying the middle of my liquefy effect is moving around wherever the face is. And that's important because then I could take something like the pucker tool and I'll make it pretty large so it's not so distinct. But I'll just tap a few times right here kind of next to this face. And you'll see that's warped in everything just a little bit. And I'll fix the ears are sticking out, so I'm just going to bring in the ears. And I know that this is an area you can get into like that Photoshop fail territory where people have like warped the background along with somebody's silhouette or something. And we're going to try to avoid that here. Let's add some keyframes on the mesh to try to just go through and see how this liquefy is lining up with stuff or not. Looks like the hair is visible there, but not here. I don't know. I feel like this is a reasonable start, but there's a lot of work that's got to happen to line it up with a chaotic. I think there's a bit of smoothing that's happening with the Motion Bro plugin, which I think I can dive into and say path smoothing uncheck. And let me see if that makes it so it gets every jitter of the element.
There are a couple of questions in the chat about using AE's new 3D stuff that is in beta right now. Have you tried using it?
It's fine.
Here's the thing: you can't animate it. In that you can't animate the model. So if you have a model that has animation like a sequence, you can't. You just have a solid single thing that sits there. Shadows don't work. There's a lot to be. It's beta for a reason. Like it's not ready yet. They're just sneaking it out there. They want feedback from the users on what the direction to go with it. So get it, try it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, based on what they were showing in sneaks, there are a lot of great things that After Effects being more 3D capable would be wonderful. I mean, that's what we're sitting here doing. And we have there are other programs at our disposal that could help with this, but it would be so great to be able to see everything together. Oh my gosh, I turned off the smoothing and that was it. That's
so good. And you don't even know that like the background warp is not noticeable. Like it just works.
It does. So the next couple things I would do in a case like this is I would probably add some lights to this scene. I don't remember what the light on his face looks like. It's probably honestly coming from, like, his lighting is coming from the truck that the person with the camera is on in the front of him. So it's actually staying pretty consistent. It's not really reacting to the world, which is not what I'm going to do. Let's go with
Alan Grant. Nicely done.
Thank you. So I'm going to try the Seth method of going to one of the built-in lighting effects. And look at that. The cinema one, I know, has a very 80s nighttime light thing. The only problem is it should be reversed. So let's reverse that 180. So the warm light is coming from that side. It's kind of dark on that side. And then maybe play with roll it around a little bit to the top. You know, I probably should have just rotated it. Why would I rotate the world on Z? That's chaotic. That's scary. Okay, I just want to rotate this until I get the warm light more on the other side of the face. And some negative fill in the front here.
There we go.
Gosh, my scroll speed is not as fast as my... as the updating... Anyway, this is exciting. Obviously, I'm just rolling this around until I have the right lighting on the right side of the face. Because this lighting is perfect, but backwards, and but it doesn't quite work to mirror it. Let's try the dramatic lighting style and see if that is more rotatable to give me one warm side and one cool side.
I mean,
this is silly.
You could just drop in lights in After Effects.
It's true. Here we are.
Do that.
There, I'm going to do that. So check that out. So now we've got that. We have some real smart motion blur on there.
How do you...
Element does have some... Go for it.
I was going to say, how are you going to match the kind of fuzziness of this non-HD background too?
what I'm going to do for that,
was
and I'll
real
leave
easy,
my
by the
motion
way.
blur on in between, but I'm going to dive into here, and then I'm going to go to, let's add some fast box blur, actually.
Dude,
at about
you just got to set it. You just got to set it to like 0.1, and it works. That's literally all I had to do.
See, look. It like that's how much this body is blurred. So I'm actually going to try the combo of 0.2 on the fast box blur, and then I'm going to add a sharpen to give myself that like
think you need
unsharp.
it?
I think what it does is it makes some of these pixels. Let me turn off my sharpen again. So this is very evenly blurred now, right? And a lot of this detail is sort of evenly blurred, but where it is in focus, there are some slightly sharper ridges here and there. And so by hitting it with a bit of sharpen, I get a slight more variety of sharp, well, that's an exaggerated version, but I get some slightly better in focus shapes as if they are coming from the compression. And I don't know about this. I mean, it's you'll do a 2 taste per your shot too. So, and maybe just a 0.1 blurriness is perfect. Who knows? Who can say?
Who can say? So I'm having trouble making this.
Who can say
Making
by
this-
the wind
This
blows?
figuring out the right sizing and orientation for this raptor head. What do you think, Hosh? Do I make
That's pretty good.
do I make it bigger?
I actually think that's pretty nice. Like, because I think we could cheat that the other shots looked like, you would have some continuity with the other shots where you believed it was like that.
Yeah.
It's like from the Ninja Turtle school of disguises, where it's like you just put on a baseball cap,
It's true.
slightly
It is,
too
you're
big
right.
a coat, and no one will know.
That's
All right,
so
I think
true.
the last thing that I need to figure out on my end here is how to add a bit more. I feel like the hair should be obscuring some of this brow. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth, what did I just say?
Your hair should be obscuring some of this brow.
Oh, okay.
It just sounded cool.
Tried
That'll
to
really help.
tried to call you on not listening.
Sell it. It really helps sell it.
I love that you
raptor
picked-
head is there.
You picked that time to call me on not listening. There have been in the history of our show, that was the weakest.
That was the first thing I heard you say. All right, so let's add. We might as well make this a 3D solid, and we'll attach it again to
Let's go back
this
to you.
3D tracked piece right here. And I should have Shift Select moved that over there. What was I thinking?
What
right.
were you thinking?
All right, so now I've just got this this sphere right here, and now on this sphere, I'm going to add some roughen edges. And you'll see what I'm doing in a second. I'll change this to spiky. I'll turn this up higher. And now I'm starting to get this kind of an edge, right? So that means if this shape also had a, I'll turn it off for a second, just a flicker cut there. All right. I'm going to add a second mask right here of this shape to represent this mullet. But this is going to be a subtract mask. And now what I've got is this nicely, like I can expand this shape out, and where I should actually just, oh my God, I'm gonna keep it just like this. This is fantastic. This is like some just really weird.
It's like
Oh
I love this hair.
my gosh.
Borat or something. I'm trying to figure out who that is.
Stephen Wright, maybe, and like in the,
Yeah.
it's interesting. But anyway. I'm not interested in what the hair is doing out here, but it is helpful.
I am.
It's Jason
Yeah,
Mantzoukas
well,
is what it is. Jason
Yeah,
Mantzoukas
I said that
hair.
poorly. I said that poorly. What I like looking at this edge as a way to double check on my rough and edges settings, because I want to scale these spikes down a little bit more until they're a little bit more the size of the hair should be in here. And I'm ultimately going to use this as a subtract mask for the raptor layer here. So let's just switch it to that now so everyone can see what we're talking about. You'll notice it's up here. It's right above it, but it wouldn't even need to be. We'll call this the hair mat. And if I press F4, look at my layer modes, even if this were like way down here and not visible, I could still go to my element layer and say, I want my track mat to come from that hair mat, wherever it is in the stack. And oh gosh, this scared me because it was just the raptor was there, and then it wasn't. And I was scared by Mel Gibson's face that was just there. Like that's the actual shot.
Have to see his face all of a sudden.
Well,
there. You always deserve a warning.
With liquefy turned on.
It is. So I'm going to check it to be inverted. And now you can see that on this hair mat, as I sort of adjust it like this, I can give myself this slightly cut in version of the raptor head, kind of like the hairlines coming in. Or I could even do like a little bit of a widow's peak to make it, more Gibsonian.
Gibsonian.
The worst museum.
The worst museum anyone's ever been to. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. So
I wish we had the time to explain our other Mel Gibson joke that the two of us have from a couple of years ago. And I don't know why I mentioned it on the show, because we don't have time to explain all the complicated context. But let's just say we made a Signs reference that played out over the course of a very emotional conversation, very rewardingly.
Yes. Like it was lovely.
It was probably my favorite conversation.
It was the last time I felt something.
Thank you, Mel. Also, screw you. I
really want the widow's peak, and I want.
The chat is really loving the hot rod Sandberg hair.
Yeah,
thank you.
And funny enough,
you're welcome to dive back to whatever you're up to. I don't mean to monopolize anything over here.
Oh, I'm in control, and I totally forget that we did that. Hold on, I'm gonna find something real quick before I. Do you remember what was the name of that Andy Samberg movie?
Which one?
Palm Springs.
Oh yes, that's a great watch if you've not seen Palm Springs.
It is, and this was one of the first times I discovered that hair. It's funniest with hair. So this was. So this was the first one I did from Palm Springs, this still, and then I was like, wait a minute, and I put the hair back in, and it made it infinitely better.
So great.
All right. Oh, this is where I ended up with the shot with Dalman. It's not perfect, but it'll play in the cut. Now I'm moving into this close-up here.
I should probably move past this shot. Like I would like to ideally roto out the hand from the front.
Yeah.
I did add one of my favorite cheap tricks for this, which is just a drop shadow. Oh, I'm not on screen. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I'll do it. Go.
It doesn't matter.
It does. I want to know.
Here's my composite. Here's my composite, and the chin does feel like it sticks out a little bit. It's a little bit weird, but drop shadow, just a straight drop shadow, and it pops out that chin nicely, like it's kind of sticking out a little bit. It's so great. I love a good drop shadow in a context like this. I'll turn it way down, and I've blurred it out a little bit, but that bit of shadow makes you believe that snout's sticking all the way out there. All right, I'm going to render this without bothering with the hand that every so often comes in front of the face.
Well, I mean, it comes in front of the human face, but the raptor snout, it might just turn underneath the snout.
That's why you're okay with it.
Yeah, it works.
Is there enough motion blur on the head?
Let me double check, because it was too much, and then I turned it down, and I don't remember where I landed. So let's try 0.4 to find a happy medium. And then let's go to just a trick real smart. Let's go one frame up, and then I'll move the null that this raptor is on by a little bit. Let's move it up like that. So now if I go to frame 1, it'll automatically have some motion blur already. See that trick? Boom. Now it's blur the whole time.
Is good trick.
Is good trick.
I actually like that the frame rate, I don't know if it's lining up perfectly or not, but anyway, this is enough. What are you up to, Seth? I've only completed one shot in these 20 minutes.
I'm on my third shot, and I'm just actually wondering how much. I'm trying to figure out what actually needs to be rotoed here. I think it might.
What are you calling these exports?
I haven't rendered anything yet, so I would just make sure the shot number stays in it.
Sure. Do you want it ProRes? Do you want an MP4?
Do ProRes.
For those who haven't noticed, in the new version of After Effects, if you just choose high quality, that's automatically the ProRes now. It's no longer using some crappy alternative whatevers. So yeah, I don't really have anything in After Effects custom presets anymore because the MP4 presets they're close enough to what I had before anyway with After Codecs, but native. And now the high quality is ProRes, and high quality with Alpha is ProRes again. So life is so much better as far as making custom presets goes.
Thank you, After Effects. Nuke would have never done that for us. I actually don't know if Nuke... Whatever. Just kidding. We love you, Nuke. And
we love you, Nuke.
Duke Nukem. Another problematic character that no one's talking about.
Him and Beetlejuice should have a club.
I think Beetlejuice's whole shtick is being problematic, like... I mean, it doesn't mean that it's good. So never mind.
All right. Let's see. Is there a shot that you especially don't want to do, Seth?
Actually,
besides the one you're on.
I don't think so. Let's see. What
the gun range.
Do the gun range. I feel like that's a Hashi shot for sure.
All right.
Well, there's one. If you want one that involves some performance, that might actually be is this one right here at the pool, because he has a line at the end. He says, "Have you ever? Have you ever met anyone you didn't kill?" And there's a long pause, and you just went like a
large scream.
Yeah, I think I think I don't want to do this one because look how much his head is moving and in front of a pool wall.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. All right, we'll figure that out.
Okay. Ooh, and the camera moves a little bit, and there's reflections to throw off trackers. Yeah, fun shot. And the arms moving in front of the face all the time.
All right, so this is an interesting one. So, Seth, if you want to flip over to me for a second. Okay, so here's a shot where arguably you'd want to do some object tracking or something if I want to preserve the hair, this nice wet hair. It would make sense for me to try to figure out how to track the face, but that face is all over the place there. I do have one theory for how to do this. So one option is you can go to a frame where the face is kind of the most visible like this, and we'll try doing some roto brush stuff. I'm going to do my classic thing of trying to segment it so it's like there are multiple parts of the face it's tracking: the brow, the nose shape, the lip shape, and the chin, even though it's looked fine the whole time. I'm going to reduce the chatter so it's more smoothed out like that. And then let me just play it forward and see if it knows to cut out the hand and stuff. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. All the way through the end here. And then let's see, it's going to start tracking backwards. And we'll just see how well the tracking backwards does. Hopefully, let's see. The hands do come in to play at some point. I just got to avoid that arm being in there. So we'll give it an alt stroke there. We'll just try going. I was going to mention that you just. Okay. I've somewhat
What?
rotobrush isolated the face. Great. And now I need to freeze it.
Freeze.
Oh, you know what we didn't do?
Oh, wait. I've spent a lot of time.
We didn't take a roto break. So during this roto break, what do you guys want to talk about?
I don't know. I've never been here before.
No, I said, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah, I like them.
Me too. And that was a roto break. Good roto break, guys. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, I'm over here. I'm going to real quick just show, just in case people didn't quite catch why I love Sparkle and Tracker, what I love about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to drop this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I turn it on, I turn it off. Because you see, like, Sparkle and Tracker, if in case you're not familiar, I can paint out Mel's eye by, like, turning up the size here, moving this blue one over here to his cheek or his forehead or whatever, and I can have all kinds of fun, right? And I can just track his eyeball that way. But I'm not going to track his eyeball. And actually, I'm not even going to use it to clone anything. I'm going to turn it off. I'm just going to use it to track because it's a really, really great tracker. I'm going to place it right here on his nostril and just click track. Let me do that one more time just because it's so fast, I didn't even get a chance to go on a tracking break.
Track it.
Well, it was that fast. Tracking break didn't really last that long. But I'll go in here to After Effects. See, I'll create a new null, open up the position. I'll hit U to open up the keyframes on the plate and see my spot center has all these keyframes. I'll click spot center so it selects all the keyframes. Copy, paste onto position of the null. And now I've got a tracked null, like super, super fast. Didn't ever have to go into After Effects tracking or anything like that. Didn't have to monitor anything.
What?
Really, really useful. So now I'm going to bring my Raptor back into that. But that's that. Hashi, what are you up to?
So I have this roto-brushed head. I have it pre-composed, and I'm adding a little brightness and contrast to it like this, so it's a little bit more distinct. And then after that, I'm going to add some colorama. And then I'm going to go to... The reason I'm curious about this is I want to see... No, that's going to mess up the tracker. Sometimes when you have something kind of indistinct like this, it's fun to use colorama. And instead of this colorful output cycle, grab something like a gray ramp. So it looks like it just converts it to black and white. But then the cool thing about this is if you phase shift it, you can make it and so parts of it just rotates through what colors are being replaced by what colors. So right now, it's like a middle gray is getting replaced by white or whatever. And the reason I've sometimes tried this is because I can find the tolerance where it's like getting the hair like that. And now I have this object that's a little bit more distinct. See this shape right here? That's a pretty recognizable high contrasty shape compared to when it's like this. The tracker is going to be able to search for points within there a little bit better. So this might work. This might have been a situation where something better would have worked too. So I don't know. Chris, do you think that how would Lockdown do with this, like a rotating head like this? I feel like it could do well, but I'm also not really positive how it would have performed on this. There's not a lot of information in here, to be fair. But I am going to try to dive into here and see if the camera tracker will try to do anything with it. I'm going to select a detailed analysis from the beginning.
Keep going. What are you doing?
I'm just so uncomfortable with my position on screen.
Why? It looks fine to me. It's totally normal. Here. I'll switch you. See if that makes you more comfortable. Oh, no. No. Not a fan. Just leave it like that. Good tracking break, guys. We did it. That was the funniest way to end the tracking break.
Perfect.
It really was pretty good. All right. I have...
Chris says they're not quite done with the 3D features, but you could probably get the eyes, brows, or any high contrast areas.
That's true. Okay, let's see. I'm going to delete the tracker there. So this is interesting. So there's a lot of them visible through here, and then this part is probably what's really killing it is right there. So likely from here forward, that's recognizable as a face. So I'm going to do something that I have, this is a weird process, and I don't recommend it exactly. All right, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to open up. Oh my gosh. Too many alarms. Seth, you're welcome to do something for a second while I open up a couple of different programs, and I'm going to try.
I'm working on what might be my favorite. Can't explain why this might be my favorite Raptor shot I've ever done, but there's just something about the 90s. I know it's the 80s, but like the color palette that's at play here, and the hat and the red shirt with the Raptor. I don't know. That's
pretty great.
This shot is a lot of my love languages.
All right, I might my screen might freeze there for a second. I think I need to reselect my webcam. Am I back? No.
Yeah. Do I need to stay off of you or what?
I'm gonna try. There we go.
Oh.
Hopefully, I'm back.
Hey, you there?
Yep. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I don't know if you could hear us for a while.
Yes. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do, which is very silly, is I'm going to, in After Effects, I'm just going to grab starting around here where I think you can see the face pretty well. And I'm going to export this, but I'm going to delete that weird colorama thing I did. But I'm going to leave the brightness and contrast on here, and then I'm going to make this into a little MP4, and I'll save it right here in our renders. Track me 100. I'm going to render this out. So that's Mel Gibson doing that action at 100% speed, and then I'm going to literally create a new version of that composition. Oops. I'm going to bring in that MP4, and then I'm going to time stretch it way out. I'm going to time stretch to like 25%. Time stretch. Oh, wait, no, not 25%, 400%. And then let's extend this canvas for a second, make this longer. Oh, man, how long is it going to make that rest of that clip? 22 seconds, maybe. No, not even that. Oh my gosh, how long is it? Is it 30 seconds worth? Then I might have stretched this too far. Didn't do the basic math at the beginning. Sorry, everyone. Time. Why don't I explain what I'm going to do? I'm going to use Snapchat to track the head.
Oh, you're doing this again.
So here's what we did. I did this with our lovely CEO, Dave McGavran, a while ago. I needed a 3D track of his face, but he's talking and moving around, delivering a thing. And so it wasn't the greatest situation to do a facial track and a head replacement kind of thing. But I was able to dive in and output the footage from him at like 50% speed like this. And then from this, I'll make this into a movie called Track Me at 50% Speed. And now if I go into wherever it is, Lens Studio, this is that Snapchat filter making application. Oh, it'll tell you that it's got to restart because it's updated. And then once it restarts, Oh my goodness gracious! This is quality free web streaming, everybody.
That's okay. I'm having trouble with my making this thing like sizing wise work out. I could probably just get away with a still and adding a camera shake, but I don't know.
That's true. That's a hard one. You can make it a 3D card of the hat and the. You could use 3D plane stamp and make a card of hair that goes this way and a card of hat that goes that way, and then they'll have some parallax.
I could do that. Why don't?
But we're in the last half hour of the show, which means it's anything goes mode.
That means I'm moving to this shot. No.
Yes.
Well, should I?
We do need an iconic shot for the thumbnail.
Somehow I want to keep his eyes and just replace the whole bottom of his face with a raptor coloring.
Let me find a good shot to end on.
I'm just really curious what that would look like. The cigarette one, that one's pretty good. Because that's a good thumb too.
Yeah, it's true. That one or one of the gun ones.
All right.
Or I could do
Those are the gun ones are always just very
funny.
rewarding.
They are.
That one's pretty dramatic. The shooting range ones are cool. I don't know what we'll do for the. We can do the headphones. The orange glasses will be interesting. The goggles.
So you do
Maybe
the
those
headphones.
my proposal weekend glasses could be turned into that.
Oh, I don't know what happened to those.
They're probably in whatever the heck folder we were making that in.
Look at this.
You
thing
heard
looping.
you just heard what our folders are named like earlier in the show.
Look at this
so,
thing looping, Hush.
That see that's his natural state. Just happy.
Oh my god.
That's a very cold muzzle flash. That's blue.
Oh, that just means that
It
means
means
film
that
has
there's fluorescent
eroded.
lighting in there.
And the film has eroded like crazy too.
If you want, you can jump back to me and I'll show you what I'm doing, which is kind of ridiculous. This it's come up on the show before, Lens Studio. The way that this works is basically you design Snapchat filters and junk. So it comes with a preview window where you can load like little videos of people who are kind of standing, slightly moving or whatever, so you can kind of test what kind of dog you can do. Like you can select any of these to test your template on. So what I'm actually going to do is you can choose a custom one. So I'm going to add from files that Mel Gibson bit that I just exported. So where did we save that? Under Thanksgiving, renders, track me. Oh, 100. Did I not render this one? Come on. There we go. So render out the plate that you want to add it to. And now I'm going to say track me at 50%. And as soon as that's in there, and I can select it. See, so now I've got that clip from Mel Gibson playing in here. And the reason I put it at 50% is because Snapchat is trying to, at as close to 60 frames per second, track a face and put something in front of it. But if it plays choppy at all, you're going to lose some rotation and stuff like that. So I'm playing at 50% speed, and then when I double it up, it means I won't have any missed frames. Did that make any sense to anyone? If it didn't, I'm sorry. But in Snapchat, I can add some basic objects like I think it's called a head binding. Maybe, yeah, if I add a head mesh, it adds this group called a head binding, which, as you can see, binds to the face, which is kind of cool. So, we lose it right there. Nuts. I was hoping it would track all the way through there. Oh, this is devastating to my process, everyone. I was hoping it could get that little bit of face there. All right. So what my process in the past has been is I'll have this head mesh kind of thing. And then right over here, we have a 3D version of the scene. And you can add whatever to it. So I could add like a a plane. It's kind of right here. And if I put the plane inside the head binding, it puts that plane right on the face there. So if the plane was somewhere like this, and you know what? In fact, maybe instead of a plane, I could just do a sphere. Let's do a sphere. And then I can, make this.
Too bad you can't just put a raptor head in there.
I know. We were close on that. We had some amazing help, and just like with RBF, I didn't follow up with it in my free time. Okay, so here, so the idea is you can start adding something like this to it, and then on the texture, if you have like some fractal noise,
I just
you can
tuned
get
back
this
into
back
your
in After
screen,
Effects.
and without having looked at it for a while, and
I mean, if you're going to do something to footage of Mel Gibson, go big or go home.
what the hell is happening?
All right, so let's add some. I think that I might have created a cool texture that was just some fractal noise with a grid pattern for whenever I did it with Dave. Let me see if I can find that. What was that for?
Well, find that. I'm just gonna go over here. I'm working on painting out Mel's face. I'm gonna go ahead and hit. I'm gonna do some. What do you call it? Content aware fill, right? Let's generate fill layer.
Fill it up.
Thank you, Phil. And now we've got blank face with a weird amount of arm there. I might need to not have the arm be part of it. Hashi, you found that yet?
Not yet. I might just need to really quickly create one. Whatever. Layer. I'm just going to create it in After Effects because that's the best place to create all your textures.
You said that like Bing Kingsley as the Mandarin. All your textures.
All your textures. What a great performance. He modeled it off of Athanasios Posansis, is what I think.
It's a tricky performance because it was like he couldn't explain himself when people were criticizing it from the trailers that there was a very good reason for his bad accent. And
what a fantastic bizarre world. Yeah. No spoilers here, I guess.
No, it's Iron Man 3. He wasn't the bad guy. He was an actor. And it turned out to be a very funny performance from Ben Kingsley.
But Ben Kingsley is an actor.
Right, but he played an actor.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm too tired to continue with this shtick.
Me too. I don't know what's happening.
I don't even know what I'm doing. Seth, why have I...
Hashi,
where is my mind?
where is your mind? I don't have a drop for that. Were you trying to cue me up for something?
No, I just that was a genuine fear-based question.
On the air, head on the ground. That's how it goes. The Pixies song. Did that wake you up at all?
That I was worried that something terrible had happened. So I.
That means I'm singing like the Pixies correctly.
Perfect.
If you're worried something terrible has happened to me.
In the chat,
In
Ryan
the chat.
Paul says, if you create content-aware fill reference frames, do you keep them in the comp? Does content-aware fill skip those frames?
You keep them in the comp. After Effects does not. It doesn't skip those frames. It looks at those frames.
But those frames would be empty from the content-aware on the content-aware fill layer.
And so it's like, oh, that's important data. I should clone that and use that. I should learn it.
Because it's only putting stuff where there's no alpha.
Mm-hmm. And that is the answer to that question.
If anyone else has any other just random questions, I'd probably do better answering random questions to calm my mind because I don't know what I'm doing right now.
I shouldn't have given you that shot. It's my fault.
Add new from files. No, well, I want to, I could have just rotomationed this by now.
Rotonationed?
Rotomationed this. Why didn't I do that? Yeah, screw this.
What's rotomation?
Rotomation is where you have, like, strictly speaking, it's where, like, if I needed to add, like, say in that frame that you have up right there, if I wanted to have Mel Gibson's arm dissolving from acid, and you did that in 3D, but you didn't have any tracking reference when you filmed it, you would have someone take a model of an arm and line it up the best they could, and then have to roto every frame of the 3D position of that arm. So when you add your CG, a melted off arm or something like that, it would match up with it. So that's rotomation. The best Fergie song?
Learning.
What is the best Fergie song?
I don't know.
I did introduce the
Money?
children to Fergalicious the other day, which was
My Body's So Fergalicious.
It was such a confusing moment. They were like, "Is
What? Dad okay?
Are you okay? What are you trying to explain? What was this song?
Well,
what is
I've found
happening?"
as I've gotten as my kids have gotten older, I've started playing more of the music I like to listen to in the car, and Arlie and I both have, and my son especially has gotten more confused over the years, because it's like I sheltered him a little bit in the car. Like, I didn't play some of the louder, more rambunctious stuff that I tend to like to listen to until...
So you're now playing Rafi nonstop.
Yes, nonstop. But they're very confused. Like Elliot was like, when I was trying to put a Run the Jewels song into something I was working on, and Elliot was like, how do you even know what this song is? Like, how is this in your library? And I was like, oh boy, buddy, I got some bad news for you.
You jumped from Baby Shark to Run the Jewels.
Yeah, he did a really harsh jump. I should have buffered it a little bit, but with some Kids Trap, which, if you're not familiar with Kids Trap, get familiar with Kids Trap. In fact,
Kids Trap.
Do you not know Kids Trap?
Is it like Kids Bop or what?
It's even better. It's this artist named Blake Rules and Nether Friends who makes original rap songs for kids. And they go like, here's one called Dinosaurs. Which I think couldn't be more appropriate.
I want it to comment on that from an editorial perspective and learning.
Here we go.
Dinosaurs, 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 dinosaurs. 200 million years ago, dinosaurs lived on every continent. 65 million years ago, they all went extinct, and we haven't seen them since. Listen to the song if you want to know more. Some walked on two legs.
Here's one called I Love My Mom.
This song is dedicated to Gardner, to Gideon, and to Gabe. It's called I Love My Mom. 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 I love my mom.
We'll see you around.
I love my mom. If my mom tells me to clean my room, I clean my room because I love my mom. If my mom tells me to wash my hands, I wash my hands because I love my mom.
So Seth, are you possibly doom procrastinating at this point?
Oh, no. I'm just introducing you to Kids Trap, which is very important. Anyway.
And we're all better off for it. It really makes you think.
It does make you think. It makes you think hard about life and things. Anyway, what the hell was I doing before I went off on that? I was tracking Mel Gibson's nose. Is that really what I want to do? I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Hashi, what are you doing now?
So I've decided to just animate this silly shot, but the way that I'm going about it is I'm going to try to find my animation from the I kind of re-rigged parts of this head for the Frozen shot because it required a little bit more performance. So let me close that, and I'm going to save this project as Lethal Weapon now so I can start animating it. So Lethal Weapon exists. I know. I'm going to let let's dive into our dope sheet here. And why is this so high? That's weird. Why aren't you? There we go. So let's just look at everything. All of our let's look how many keyframes I gave you for that stupid Frozen thing. This is the most effort I've ever put into animating a performance by a
You worked
Velociraptor.
really hard on this thing.
I mean, let me see. Can I hide the armature and just reveal the performance? Oh no, I've got to reveal the eyes and the eyelids. See, that's what I added to this rig.
Hashi, you can filter the bones out of viewport in your display settings.
Filter the bones.
Like up top of your...
That's that Peter Jackson movie.
Yes, filter the bones.
So
The
I
filter
even
bones. I'm done.
not gonna
I'm
lie.
done. You can talk.
I think that this deserves an animation award. I think that I've accomplished a facial performance here that is more subtle, more complex, full of betrayal.
Oh, that little frown is so good.
What do you think? What do you think, Seth? Do you think this warrants me considering myself amongst the best animators in the world?
Hashi, I already consider you amongst the greatest animators in the world.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, pal.
And all those news articles about Action Movie Dad and Action Movie Kid are correct now.
See, now I am.
Or they called you animator
Pixar.
instead of VFX artist. You are a Pixar.
I was trying to cue you up for that.
Oh, my bad.
I am it.
Sometimes I forget I'm running a show too while I'm turning Mel Gibson into a raptor.
It's a lot. So let me show you how I might go about doing a rotomation style thing. I would go into Cinema 4D. It's funny because I like all this animation, and I wonder if it'll work for any part of what happens in the shot. He is sitting there swimming, whatever. Does just Danny Glover talk for the first part of it?
Yeah.
And he's just kind of catching his breath, looking around.
Yeah, here I can.
And then finally says, I haven't killed you yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty good. So I might keep some of my, I'm going to do a very cheap hold on to some of my keyframes because I like the way this talking looks. And I think it might actually work for this. So let's bring in the footage, and I'll do that by adding a background object. And you can do this a couple of ways. You can add a background object and then create a new material. And in its luminance channel, for the texture, you can dive in and find that, like, I can find that specific shot. So what's today? Today is Thanksgiving episode footage, plates, lethal weapon plate. And I don't want to make a copy. I just want to refer to it. And then for the, let's see, do we not like movie files? I should export it as a little PNG sequence or something like that.
Edward Gomez in the chat is asking, is that Raptor available?
Oh, that Raptor is so available.
Now, listen. We're,
It's on Tinder, on Match.com.
yeah,
It's on
exactly.
Bumble.
The Raptor is available and
And willing.
I think it is by it's on Sketchfab by a user I think called Blue Mesh. I think you just need to look for a blue Velociraptor.
It's not rigged. We rigged it.
It is rigged, but we re-rigged it.
Oh, okay.
It has an existing rig that probably made sense for the animation that is included, which is right here. So yeah, by Blue Mesh. So it's pretty amazing. Like it's nice. There are the only complaints I have is that the normal pattern from the face to the neck got inverted somewhere. Like you can see that this is proper, that's not. Look at the other side of him. That's not proper.
You're right.
And
That's
that
what's
is.
going
And so
on. You've never defined it to me so perfectly. Like that thing has been driving me nuts since we got it, and that's 100% what's going on.
It is wild. So they have a good side and not. And so I'll even cheat this by flipping the normals depending on which side of the face is facing the camera. That's sometimes successful, but it's not very easy to repaint and invert certain parts of a normal map. For me, at least, I'm inexperienced in doing that. I don't know how to select certain sections of it and invert the normal color pattern. If anyone knows how to, feel free to do that for this one. But anyway, I'm going to now select my plate. Did I render it out under here? Where did I render it to, Seth?
No one knows.
Nobody knows. Where did I put you? Thanksgiving Royale. Oh, I put it under the Elements folder. What was I thinking?
What were you thinking?
It's just an element.
Search around your computer while you're like, I went to me so you could search around your computer.
Thank you.
And I've got this shot. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me.
All right. I'm going to see how well this the Hans performance lines up with this Lethal Weapon shot. Let's see. Viewport. So I've brought in this layer as the PNG. Then I'm going to dive into it and click on animation. I have the material selected, and then under the luminance channel, I clicked on the texture, which brought me to here. I'm going to say animation, and I'm going to say I want the exact frame, and I want you to look through my footage to see how many frames there are in it. How many were there? There were 1272 to 1455. Oh, I didn't even give them simple numbers. And that's okay. I should have reset this to 0 because I can't do subtraction. 183 frames. So let's say start there, end there. Oh, I could have pressed the calculate button. Oh, we're on fire, Seth. So now in the viewport, is it telling it to update it, animate the preview, and you're supposed to be updating every frame, are you not? Why aren't you updating? I don't like you anymore.
Here's this raptor. I added the muzzle flash on his face as well.
Nice.
Anything else I should do? Nope.
That's going to be perfect for the amount of time that plays.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sad.
I think just letting that loop for like a good bit. Like I want you to throw a VFX and chill hashtag watermark on that thing, and I'll pop that one up on Giphy because I love that one.
Here it comes. Looking for my watermarks, baby, this evening.
Watermarks, baby,
tonight. Not a still. Watermarks, baby, this evening.
No, anyway, Hashi's got his background playing now.
I finally have the background playing. I don't know what it was doing before, but now it's aware of my background. So what I'm going to do is let's open up this dope sheet here, and I'm just going to slide all of my keyframes back. I'm going to move it on back.
Yeah.
What do I want to do? Let me just unfold all this real quick and select all these. Okay. Let's take all these keyframes and move them so the facial animation starts right here. Oh yeah, see, we've basically got it now. Fake. There we go. So now I can animate right on top of this with a few keyframes. I haven't killed you yet. See, it's perfect. And then I can just move,
Wait, but
move the camera. There we go.
Scream?
See, no rotomation needed. He's just perfect, just sitting there.
Looking at him?
Oh my gosh, this is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. He goes in, even like goes in for a fake out kiss for a while, like during this line.
It's
Like
good. It's good.
I love when our raptor
he's
is
got his
doing,
eyes closed.
I love when our raptor is clearly not listening. Like we give our raptor something to do while other people are talking to him.
He just zones out somewhere else. My goodness. Well,
Hashi, I think you should put a different focal length on your lens.
Jesse Rogers, the answer is Kids Trap.
Kids Trap. Where's the quickest way to
like a way to catch a child in the woods is you lay out a kid's trap?
You lay a kid's trap. Everyone knows you lay a kid's trap in the middle of the woods. Yes.
Well, Seth, we learned a lot today.
Did we?
learned
Oh, it's
that,
1:59.
What did we learn today?
I don't know. I don't have that anymore. Sorry.
No, that's all right. We got rid of it. We learned a little bit about this bizarre stop motion style project up front for a little while, which is kind of cool. The stop motion Rankin Bass little dude.
We learned about the track modifier tag and the hair system.
Oh yeah, the hair system for fur, or for a felt like fur. And the reason I used this instead of hair is because I didn't need it to be dynamic. I wanted to move along with it. And we also learned about Mel Gibson and and if you feel you don't know enough about Mel Gibson, or you thought we were unnecessarily hating on him or something like that, maybe Google him.
No, don't do any of that. Anybody.
Don't waste your time there. Just go yell into the void of Twitter.
It'll always be there for you.
If nothing else, you always have Twitter.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Have a very happy Thanksgiving. We are off next week, but catch up on some of our exciting replay episodes. And
like last week, go to last week's episode. We talk about Cinema 4D's brand new Fire. Brand new Pyro and Fire. Make sure you go grab some of that Fire action in our episode. And is there any other kind of action they could also grab from any of our episodes or from After Effects in general?
Oh boy. What were some of our recent fun ones? If you're into the more like behind the scenes kind of talk, I thought yours and Valentina conversation about directing stuff was pretty cool. We also had a guest star, Stu Maschwitz, come talk about Twister, of course, always the Twister.
But we talked about the host.
The host.
That was also the Valentina episode.
But
also, Chris Franos is correct. We also, the other kind of action we tend to get is
CC ball action.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Make sure you follow Red Giant on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or any of those, because you might hear something about something coming up. Something
you might hear something about something.
Cyber Monday.
Everything that's specific, you'll find it. You'll hear it. You'll see it, and you'll believe it.
It'll mention.
Guys, I love you, and I love everyone else, but I love you guys more. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.